to visiting our sites. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent Garcia. Now we'll have reports from our employee groups. Unfortunately, the president of the Morgan Hill Classified Employees Association is not here. We'll move on to the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers President, Jim Levis. Hello, Jim.
Good evening, President Escoto, Board Trustees, Superintendent Garcia, staff, and guests. I am Jim Levis, the proud president of the Morgan Hill Federation of Teachers. I wanted to start off by also thanking Trustee Eves Knudsen for her service to the board over the last 2 years, and of course, her service to the district for the 20 plus years before that. I'm sorry to see her leave, as she has always supported our students, our families, and our employees. I wish Terry the best, and her passion for the district will definitely be missed. Last week, as the superintendent mentioned, we welcomed our new certificated staff with a couple of days of training to get them orientated into the district. And yesterday, we did have the all-district welcome back at Sobrato High School. Of course, many of our classified and administrative staff have been working through much of the summer to keep things going, to get new programs started up. So everybody's been working very hard on that. It was really nice to have the opportunity to see all of the district employees at one place and reconnect with our colleagues. I wanted to thank the board trustees who were able to make the welcome back and took the time to talk with many of the employees that were there. I was a little sad that the three labor groups were not able to make a few comments to their members during the opening yesterday. Until last year, it had been a long-standing tradition to give each labor leader a few minutes to welcome and update the employee groups on some of the important aspects of the past and upcoming year. I'm hopeful that this tradition can be brought back next year. It is the only time that all employees are together at the same time and at the same place. As we all prepare for the rush of students this Thursday, we do continue to ready our rooms and our sites to start out the year strong. The last 2 days have been filled with district and site-led professional developments for all staff. And tomorrow, classroom teachers will have a last chance to finish up preparing for their rooms and the first few days of lessons. This, of course, while the final touches are being made on the sites and the facilities. I do hope that some of you will be able to attend the opening of school on Thursday at some of the sites and to welcome our students on the first day. Of course, it's always an exciting time. We do start the year with a very shaky financial footing. I am hopeful that the Budget Advisory Committee will be able to recommend some common sense saving ideas to help get the district back on track. It will be a very, very difficult next few years as we figure out how to keep our commitment to our students, our community, and our staff while we cut our expenses by millions of dollars. In closing, I do want to wish everyone a strong, happy, and productive school year. And I want to thank our parents and guardians for entrusting your children to us this year. We will do our absolute best to continue to earn that trust. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Levis. All right, next up is the Morgan Hill Educational Leaders Association President, Patrick Bookser. Mr. Bookser.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. Very special thank you to all of our new Mahala members who have joined our team. Like the superintendent said, we had a wonderful start onboarding throughout the week. As Mr. Levis said, tons of work throughout the summer, getting all the schools prepared. It just seems like yesterday I was telling you guys that we're closing up, moving all the stuff around to open it right back up again. So it's exciting. As schools are looking great and all staff working very, very hard. We had a great admin retreat focusing on our school district vision, student engagement, and logistics. We had a handful of PLC meetings where we were looking at our strengths-based leadership from the Gallup poll, and also looking at our culture and climate /PBIS with Heather Robbins, wonderful lady who brought good perspective on the relationship, importance of it. As stated earlier, our PD days and site days were yesterday and today. And I know that all teachers are working hard today, tomorrow, with the foresight of getting ready for back to school night. So that's coming up very soon. The beginning of school will come and go. And then that's the day in which our ship leaves the port. We are packing all of our items, making sure we have everything. So that's exciting. As the beginning of anything is very, very exciting. So looking forward to an amazing school year. And on a side note, I had a parent come to me today and say, kindergarten, when we first opened up JAM, is now the seniors. The first kindergarten class at JAM is seniors. We opened in 2012. So exciting to be there for that graduation. Anyway, thank you. And that is it from me.
Thank you, Mr. Bookster. That's great. That's a great report. All right. Moving on to reports from our board members. Trustee Patterson.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Garcia, for your presentation and your slideshow. I just want to represent for San Jose National Night Out. It was very successful. It was held in Los Paseos Park. Of course, we had San Jose PD, we had the California Highway Patrol, and our Los Paseos Women's School Club had a table, and we're greeting and handing out all kinds of treats and prizes to our Los Paseos incoming families, which there were many, many there. Happily, live band music and a lot of celebration of community bonding. And as you all know, National Night Out is all about community safety and keeping our kids and families safe. So that was primary. I ended up sitting with Sobrato's chemistry department on the welcome back yesterday morning, which was delightful. They were so totally stoked and it seemed ready to go with chemistry for our high schoolers at Sobrato High School. So that was lovely and engaging to be part of that.
Right, right. Thank you, Trustee Patterson. Anyone else? All right. Hearing none. Well,
Vice President Altman was reaching for her mic. Did you want to go? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. I had the opportunity to stop at the Royal Oak Apartments during the registration. What a wonderful thing. It happens to be in my trustee area and a place I drive by all the time. You had the impression that was farm worker housing, which is true, but what I didn't realize until talking to the folks there is that 70 units, all of them with children, 2 or 3 children per unit, and they've just started moving in. They're going to be moving in till September. So getting those children connected, thank you to the staff under Dr. Garcia's leadership for really jumping on that, because it's pretty late in the school year with school starting on Thursday, and some families will be not even moved in yet. So I saw that the staff not only did a sign-up event there, but developed relationships with the apartment manager, and contacts and all that stuff working well. And as we see, more of these relatively large complexes with in this case is for income challenged families. And so the more people you have in a household, the easier it is to qualify. That's something I hadn't realized until spending time. So I think farm worker housing, I don't think 70 units all with 2, 3, and 4 children in them, but that's actually what's going on there. So really glad we could respond. It happens to be right at the boundary between the San Martin Gwin attendance area and the Paradise Valley attendance area. So sure people are getting all that sorted out, but I got a little panicked when I thought about, 2 times 70 is 140, 3 is 210, 100, all these new kids is great, but, classrooms, teachers, buses, all that is a little bit of a panic. And I happened to talk to, one of the staffers at Voices. They're like, yeah, well, those are, a lot of those are our natural families. Of course, we're already full. I said, yeah, one of the things that's easier about your job is if somebody shows up in a month, you're full. It's like, oh, sorry. Well, we have an obligation to serve whenever anybody shows up. And it's an obligation we take on joyfully, but it is a very different system. Anyhow, also had the opportunity to go to the city's ongoing Elevate Morgan Hill economic mobility. Glad to see our city really leaning into that. All the people in the room were people wanting to provide that service, but not in need of it. So we had a conversation, about we're talking about people without people. And that's not a good thing. And that is a huge, huge part of our community is, not represented directly at this table. And a lot of need. We hear that from some of our parents who are here tonight. So I hear it, I see it, I feel it. Other upcoming event that has just a little overlap, the Kiwanis Club has taken on sponsoring the Youth Mariachi Festival that had been at the Morgan Hill Historical Society for 4 years. That board decided they no longer wanted to support the event. Fortunately, the Kiwanis Club that President Escoto and I happen to be members of wholeheartedly embraced the effort, and Kat Chavez-Napoli is leading a large team, and it is going to be on October 12th at the Britton School, New Student Union. It's an amazing venue, and it's going to be an amazing time, and it'll be bigger and better than ever. And also heard the organizers coordinating with staff there some musical instrument displays to be in the library ahead of time. So I thought that was a really interesting and creative way to continue expanding what our students learn about. Instead of trying to get them to go see something, just have it right there. Went to the Morgan Hill National Night Out, amazing, biggest one ever. Everything Trustee Patterson said, but in Morgan Hill was very useful. Just want to make sure folks know that the Morgan Hill Education Foundation grant applications, that they're available. Did they get? Okay, they have been sent out. So these are grants to support enrichment activities of various kinds in our schools. Expect to be able to give out $25,000 to $30,000 here in September. So this might be music, sports, field trips, all these sorts of things that we've talked about. So this is our first year. We have some money to distribute that way. There will be a separate kind of community group reviewing the applications and making recommendations to that board. But really excited that that's up and running and underway after years and years of discussion, and to finally be at the stage of handing out initial money to support the things we're talking about. It's a big milestone. We're very excited about that. And then I'll just close with, I also had the opportunity to go to the California Latino School Board Association's annual Unity Conference in Monterey. Whatever day that was, they're all running together just a few days ago. Full of information and inspiration. It's, and for me, it was even more impactful than the annual CSBA AEC. And perhaps at another time I can share some of what I learned there. But it was really energizing for the work we do on behalf of all of our students. Thank you.
Vice President Bowman.
Thank you. I just want to take this moment to send my best wishes to all teachers, school staff, administrators for a fantastic first 2 days of school.
Thank you, Vice President Altman. All right. The only thing I'm going to share, actually, I attended many of the things that Mr. Horner attended, the Royal Oaks Apartment, and meeting our staff there as they were processing individuals there for our programs and services. A shout out to Michael Jochner for feeding a lot of folks yesterday. My understanding is that everything that they provided was made from scratch. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Yeah, they provided a very nice spread, very nice breakfast for everyone who attended the welcome back. And I also appreciated having been there and seeing some old friends, and as well as seeing some new ones as well. I also attended the Elevate Morgan Hills workshop, if you will. And one interesting note that I found out, interesting bit of information, is that approximately a little over 25% of all of the businesses in Morgan Hill are owned and operated by Latinos. And I didn't realize that. I know we had a lot of businesses, but often the ones that are more visible are the food businesses, but there are there's a whole range of businesses that are well represented in this community that are run by Latino families. And that issue came up as we were beginning to talk about how we can expose more of our students to the business community. And so there'll be some additional meetings coming down the road, and we'll report back on the progress of that. concludes my report. Is anyone else? Mr. Montes.
President Escoto, thank you. Just colleagues, just a brief update. There's some bills that I've been personally following that I think are important for us. One that I wanted to elevate that I think is very huge for our students that are identified as English language learners is AB 2268, which was signed into law by the governor. Essentially, what it does, it exempts our TK students from being administered the LPAC assessment. And as someone who administered that assessment one-on-one to hundreds of students, this is, I think, a very much needed move to support, to have this assessment be appropriate for our young people. One that I am particularly following is AB 2074. And years ago, the legislature and the California Department of Education passed the California English Learner Roadmap Policy, which is an amazing document that outlines some of the commitments that we hope to hold true for our young people identified as English language learners within the state of California. What this policy document did not do was essentially create an implementation plan. So we have this document, but it hasn't really been adopted per se to the extent that we would have liked across California. And so what this bill would do is would require the CDE to develop an implementation plan. And so that is a bill that I am very much following. It will, if passed, I believe, have a tremendous impact in the support of ensuring that the infrastructure is also being built to support this document. And so we know that in the month ahead to August, the deadline to sign bills will be in September from the government, but it's one that I am keeping an eye on. Wanted to share.
Thank you, Trustee Montes. Anyone else? All right, we're good. Dr. Garcia?
I apologize in my update. There was a bit of an oversight. I want to acknowledge Director Swift for having applied for and received another grant. I think she's up to $6 million. So thank you so much, Director Swift. This is additional revenue. So this is LCSSP grant is $1.2 million for 3 years. And it is going to help us with our multi-tiered systems of support. It will help us reduce our suspensions, and it will strengthen our multi-tiered systems of support efforts. So thank you so much, Director Swift.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, the next item is upcoming events on our calendar, and colleagues, the upcoming events are attached to your agenda. Next up is consent items. We'll move on to approve tonight's consent items. Are there any trustees who would like to pull an item for further discussion?
Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar as submitted.
Thank you, Trustee Fuentes. Can I get a second? Trustee Horner, thank you for your second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to general business. We still going to have she on this? Okay, great. Consider and appoint Measure J Citizens Oversight Committee members to open positions. Assistant Superintendent Timbo will introduce this item and present this item.
Hi, good evening. Nice to see you all, even though it's from afar. So tonight, as you know, on November 6, 2012, voters residing within the Morgan Hill Unified School District passed Measure G, which was a $198.25 million bond that authorizes funding for needed repairs, upgrades, new construction projects, etc., for the district schools. That bond was passed in accordance with provisions of Proposition 39, which was a state law that requires that we appoint a citizens oversight committee to oversee that bond measure. So Ed Code section 15278B outlines the responsibilities of that committee, which is to inform the public concerning the district's expenditure of Measure G bonds, review the expenditure reports produced by the district, and then present the Board of Education in a public session an annual written report. So we currently have 3 openings on this, on the Citizens Oversight Committee, and we have 4 applications before you tonight. I know you've had a chance to look them over. I'll just point out really quickly, we have one position as a business representative. We have one position from a community at large member, and then one position that is a parent or guardian of a child enrolled in the district. So we have 4 applications. We have one person that qualifies as a business representative. We have one person that qualifies only as at large community member, and then the other 2 can either be a community at large member or they qualify as a parent or guardian.
Okay.
I do believe they were invited to attend or be on Zoom. I'm not sure if anyone is there too, or if you have any questions regarding those applications.
Yes, we do have candidates here. I'd like to, my closed. Sorry, my computer just went down.
President Escoto,
please.
A question for our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Timbo. Question, do you have a calendar of the upcoming meetings for the Citizens Measure G Citizens Oversight Committee of when they're scheduled to meet, the next meetings?
We do. The very next meeting, I believe, is September 5th.